Greetings and welcome everyone to an all-you-can-geek bonus round for Black Panther 2 Wakanda Forever. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gast, joined by Corey Feinside
Hello.
and Tony Korkanakis.
Hey.
Welcome, guys. Welcome, listeners and viewers, live streaming on Twitch starting Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock. We get bonus content on occasion, so please join us. This is a spoiler cast, so we will be talking spoilers, and that is a warning. And
Yes.
very big warning.
If you've not seen the movie, do not listen to this episode. Right. Or if you just don't care, you can listen to it. That's fine. But yes, we will be talking about everything that happens in the movie.
At your own peril.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, I don't want to have to worry about, I spoiled that. So please do not listen if you haven't seen this movie. It's a great movie. If you haven't, go check it out. But that's your last warning, folks. Last warning. We can go and freely talk about spoilers now. So guys, welcome to the Black Panther 2 Wakanda Forever Spoilercast. It's exciting and also sad. Man, I mean, I'll tell you what, the first 5 minutes, that intro, the moment of silence that they did, I was just like,
I couldn't believe how cathartic that was, actually. But just sitting there, because like, I mean, right off the bat, they do the black, and then you hear the medical sounds, and then Shuri praying, to the gods to help her and stuff like that. Yeah. And somebody that's been there, like, I mean, that they really recreated that sense of dread and that pressure and anxiety that you get there, and then just to fade to the iconic Marvel Studios intro with just complete silence and tribute to Chadwick Boseman. I mean, that hit me. I mean, I can't lie.
I mean, Amanda was tearing up. I was kind of like, I was not crying. But it was very powerful and sad immediately.
Very well done. Like, absolutely. Like, how else could you do? Like, what else were you gonna do there? And like, how else are you gonna start this film? And I love the fact that they don't go into, don't try to nitty-gritty, right? It's just like, there was an illness, it took his life, and we weren't able to save him, and now we are gonna have to continue moving forward. And what does that mean? What is that like? And how do we do this? Because we weren't expecting this to happen.
They basically, I mean, this movie, summed up Chadwick Boseman passing. Like, it's the same idea of his impact in the MCU, the world, and it's so weird that they paralleled that into this movie. So I'm watching this entire movie. And
essentially did the same thing. He did the same thing as his character. Like, he didn't tell anybody what was going on until it was too late.
They threw that line in there a few times, which I'm like, wow, they really just, they embraced, the sadness of his passing, and they basically embraced his wishes. You know what I mean? Like, exactly what he was as a character, as a person, as the character. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, and it just to hit you that quick. It's just like, but very, very good intro. And very sad passing. Reminds you how sad it was. I'm getting upset. I'm getting upset now thinking about it.
It was good. Like you said, earlier, I think Tony used, like, you wanted to kind of get through that a little bit, and then, like, with these characters, you're going through the same thing, having to deal with the loss, kind of have a step back, moment of silence, essentially, and then the funeral procession, trying to come through that and get through that moment. And now we're gonna see what's gonna happen. And man, like, Ramonda in this movie was like one of the best characters.
Yeah. What's her name? Angela Bassett? Is that
something like that?
Is that her name? I can't.
All I can think of is like Annette Bening in my head. That's like some other woman, like, completely.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, Ramonda as the queen of sovereign queen of
Wakanda, and she was a fantastic. Immediately felt
excellent.
She knocked out of the park. I know a lot of people, especially like movie reviewers or the critics, are really praising her and saying that she's probably going to be nominated for an Oscar for a performance.
It was a standout in this movie.
Absolutely. I mean, just the intro where, like, the UN is targeting Wakanda politically, because they're like
the flashes back and forth between
the president and, like, just the night before and stuff like that. And I mean, that was it sent chills down my spine, because, like, it is kind of like what would happen, sadly,
Right.
It's
And yeah, we hear your whispers. The king is dead.
the king. Yeah, exactly. And she's like, we'll take it as an act of aggression, and it will not be taken lightly. And it's just, it's like, damn, like, and she,
She
like,
launches those Marines
in, yeah, exactly.
That was great.
Yeah,
it's crazy. And just she did such a great job too, because obviously she's mourning as the mother, and just having lost her husband, the year prior, or I guess a couple years prior,
However many
depending
years,
on with the
well, there was
time
a
skips.
5-year gap.
Yeah, the time skip and stuff like that. But I mean, to keep her poise and everything, and while still trying to help her other child Shuri through this. I thought that was a really wonderful
Run a country.
And run a country.
The most powerful country.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, this is really, really awesome to see a woman, a black woman in power and authority, and still keeping her composure. And not like it needed to be, but I was like, wow, okay, great. And then what I will do say is later on when, I'm skipping around in the movie part just because I want to talk about this character, but after Shuri gets abducted and she, as the character, doesn't know that Shuri's fine. She thinks she lost her other child.
Yeah.
And I was going to call this scene out too.
And, right. And, as a comic book fan, as a movie fan, that we know Shuri's okay. And Okoye's like, please, let me go find her immediately. And she's like, no, you're done. Like, you're being stripped of your titles and your honors. You failed. And then, my initial thing was like, oh, whoa, like, and you could see that through Okoye, and she's like, but I've given everything, and she's like, no, and she's like, where were you, when you and the I forget her unit, what the army is called, when
Damolage or something like that.
Damolage, like when
Killmonger.
You stood by
yeah.
when Killmonger, stood there, and then this, and then you took Shuri when I told you not to.
You can go see your husband whenever you want to.
Exactly, and she's like, when I, have I not given everything? Have I? And stuff like that.
And that moment in the trailer, because that line is in the trailer, and it's like, oh wow, that's so powerful. And then you see it in the film, it's even more powerful.
Yeah, as you build to that, the build to that was insane.
So absolutely. And that was your point where it's like, this is the the raw emotions of a character and a human being, despite her title, despite her royalty and stuff like that. Like, that's her being just a human person, and it just really shone through in that moment. So it was fantastic.
Angela Bassett.
Angela Bassett. I'm looking him up. Yeah, I have him here.
I just want to call her out because she was like my favorite character in this film.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, M'Baku was still one of my favorite characters in this movie, actually, and I believe to make him more of the voice of reason throughout the entire movie was incredible, actually, considering what he was in the first movie. And
he was kind of the same. He's kind of the same.
He's very wise for how I guess, I don't know, ambitious he is. He's very wise, and it's just awesome to see his tutelage in this movie in terms of just trying to guide Shuri. And he did a great job. The actor. I mean, that was Winston Duke, and I thought he did a great job. And not as Angela Bassett, obviously. Best role. I think she did the best job. But I gotta call him out a little bit. But yeah, so I mean, this movie starts us off with that and goes. Where are we going from there?
Are like pretty much how they say it in the movies.
What's that?
Pretty much right away. Like they.
We get the barge, right? Well, she says go find it yourself. Essentially, vibranium.
Well, no, you get the villain. Namor.
Oh yeah, you get the villain. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. You get the barge. But we have the funeral, and then we have her saying that as the strike team gets jumped, and then we have her saying to go find your own vibranium, and that's what's pushed the world to try to find their own, because that stuff is so powerful, and I do like how that was thrown in there too when the Wakandans were afraid of other vibranium. We've never faced anybody with that. They said multiple times, but they
believe they were the only ones that had it.
Yeah, I mean, they were sound on what they had, but I will say that it was the premiere, like the initial, like that barge ship scene with the what are they? They're not Atlanteans. They're what are they? Toll. Where they come from? Namor's people.
Talcon?
Talcon.
Talcon. Thank you. The Talcon. Um, the appearance of the people showing up then was scary. It was like really like wow. It was like holy shit. They were singing. It was kind of freaky
Like
actually.
Siren song.
Yeah, siren song and jumping off the boat to their death, assaulting the boats, just taking everybody down, and then even like killing. Just killing everybody.
Yeah. Well, they can't let people. There are no witnesses.
Yeah.
No.
And to finish it with Namor actually taking out the helicopter with his mutant powers, which was awesome by the way. But I do love that Marvel is sprinkling in the mutant names. I mentioned it to Amanda actually when she left the movie. I'm like, did you notice they threw a mutant name out there? I'm like, they're sprinkling it. It's just planting the seeds. But I did love that premiere. And man, I mean, I love my villains. I think I've said this almost every bonus round we talk about movies. I talk about villains, and I loved this villain. Like I thought, wow. I mean, you want it's a perfect villain for me. This is like a Magneto. This is exactly what this. I really like this. I don't know anything about this character. Is this the way he's in the character in the comics?
He's a much bigger dick in the comics.
He's a much bigger dick in the comics. Okay. Absolutely.
I really loved this portrayal then because I'm like this it feels like a Magneto. Like it's like I just want what's best for my people.
Yeah,
I want to keep it secret and by any means, and that is Magneto.
Right. Well, and that's what I think is great. Like when you have a great villain, is when you can relate to their motivations, and because humans and people are multifaceted. You know, we're all complex. We have all different levels. Yeah, we're still complex, and as a the best villains are the heroes of their own stories, right? So it's like like you said, his whole thing is like he's been trying to protect these people. Like we learn later on, he's moved his city around a few times, and he finally feels like they're to the point where they now can take out like the surface people, and that's evil. Like it's not like he just wants to protect people. He wants to take out the surface people. So it's not all just like, oh, I want to protect, leave me alone. He has other motivations going on here too.
Yeah,
I did like that.
What I appreciate about Namor, and I think his actor, can't think of it off the top of his name. I think he did an excellent job.
Oh, he is great. And I love the change of Atlantis is so overblown. Like, you don't need Aquaman again.
Yeah, exactly.
I got you.
The Aztec.
I had to remember the name of where they were from then in this.
Talcon. Yeah. But he did such a great job. Absolutely, you could see like, as a comic book movie watcher, you're seeing like, okay, yeah, he just killed a bunch of Marine and a couple scientists or whatever. It's like, yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, that's evil. But like for him, it's like we cannot let people find out we exist because they'll start coming for us.
It's like it's nothing personal. It's just it's protection.
It's protection, absolutely.
He does hate everybody on the surface, but because he has to protect his people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I've only seen like the worst of people on the surface as well.
Anytime that's true. So, no, I mean, so we get the MIT expert who created that. That's what kind of starts this whole story of Black Panther 2. And the
Ross is back, which is nice.
Everett.
Everett.
Oh yeah, that's right, Everett Ross. That's right.
He's the one that tells them about.
Yep.
Riri Williams.
Yeah. So I do like him coming back. That part, but I guess you had to get her into it. I had a couple my gripes. I mentioned
his
on
other
the
parts
Moviecast.
After the initial thing where he meets up with Okoye and Shuri. That's fine. I totally get that. But like
that was my
parts in the movie where like he showed up and was like, this didn't need to be in here.
I felt like those were all waste of time, were they not?
Yeah.
Like I mean,
Most of them were, yeah.
And that was what I was hinting at.
Like it's a little long.
The other one where he was on the highway, like that was fine.
But in this, but like
that actually got an audible gas out of my theater because nobody expected her to show up. Yeah, people were like,
I didn't get anything. I don't think anybody recognized her in my theater, but I
saw it opening day. I saw it opening like Thursday, so like you got the diehards.
I just feel like both of them didn't need to be in this movie, except for I understand pointing in the right direction for Riri. And that's it. And I do agree. I think after that they could have just left him as a cameo and it would have been the same movie. Like what did we get from him later that we needed?
No, I mean, he just gets rescued.
he gets arrested and then rescued. So I mean, that's probably going to directly lead into Thunderbolt or Captain America 4,
maybe
New World Order, absolutely 100%, and Thunderbolts. But it's just like that's one of those things where it's so glaring because like he's not talking to the characters anymore. Like after the one time with the beads, like he talks to the Queen, but that's it. So like whatever. It was only thankfully none of those things were too long, but like.
No,
there was a
it didn't feel necessary.
Yeah, absolutely.
For what we were watching, it was like taking me out of it a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we get introduced to Riri right away, and which is Ironheart, which I know nothing about.
I love her intro. I absolutely love her intro where she just like walked to that dude and is like, "You didn't Venmo me." For that aside, and he's like blah blah, and she just like takes the phone. And she's like, "Well, blah blah blah," and it's just like you could see.
That was yesterday's price.
Yeah, that was yesterday.
It went up $300 in a day. Yeah. So no, I liked her character. I like the quirkiness, not the snappiness, I guess, of her character. That's what I'm looking for. Snappy, like the way. Yeah, the youthfulness. That's it.
Like the two like genius girls, like black women, like playing off each other was really cool.
Yeah.
I thought it was really funny that the scene where like she like makes a joke, oh, have fun beating Namor with a heater by yourself, and that's literally what they do at the end.
I didn't even think about that, but
I forgot about that. Yeah. No, I mean I liked her intro. I did like their FBI run-in where they had to escape out of that. That was right there too. I mean we didn't get much story about that car till later. We knew that was important to her, but. It was a fun car chase. Like you gotta get a chase, I think, in this movie like that. I think that was because the first one had a car chase, did it not? With like a if I remember right?
Through South Korea. Yeah.
Oh yeah. At the Lexuses and Shuri was driving.
Yeah. The one thing there. Car. So the way that car chase scene ended with the Talakanians showing up, I was like, how'd you guys know and get there so quickly? I'm like. I just thought it was kind of weird. It's like, well, if you knew she was in that area, why did you need?
Why'd you wait?
Yeah. Why'd you wait?
Well, I think water kind of helps when you get near a bridge.
Well, no, absolutely, but like it sounded like Namor wanted their help finding her. To me, this is absolutely a nitpick. I'm acknowledging this here, but I guess to me, I would have preferred if they had just done something where it's like. Just even throwing a line like, yeah, we were tracking you. We just we knew where she was all along. We just wanted to see if Wakanda was an ally or something like that. And I'd be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But like the way it is in the movie, I'm just like, well, you got there really fucking quick. Like, how did, like, what was this being broadcast? It's like, oh yeah, Koye and Shuri, they're in fucking Chicago or where the hell it was.
Also, like, real quick, just go back a little bit.
I was gonna go back.
The Queen and
what did you feel about the infiltration there? Yeah.
Meet Namor for the first time, and Shuri just straight out says like he's wearing vibranium. So she can just like see vibranium like without.
She works with it all the time, so absolutely she could. Yeah,
but like she hasn't seen other like culture use it before. It's always been like her. So I just thought that was interesting.
So that
was a really cool sequence. I thought that
my only other nitpick comes from this sequence on the bridge. It's not the sequence itself; it's the result of the sequence. I loved the Okoye fight with the I loved that fight, and I wanted to see a rematch.
That was a great.
I really wanted to see a rematch. I don't like
the first time really like she kind of gets bested as well.
I don't like the rematch we got, and I'll get to that later in the movie.
I can see that.
I have some issues with that. That's my biggest gripe of the movie is that, but we'll get to that.
I don't want to remember. I want to remember. I think Samara and Atuma, I thought they were fantastic. Like stood out and like
you could tell that they were a different level. Those two. So I did like that because I don't know anything about those characters.
The I'm thinking is like, how do they get so good at
fighting on land?
Fighting? Yeah. It's like okay, I understand like you could be like amazing in the water, but like how do you get so good when you're not in the water?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know too. But the next sequence, and I actually like that we saw Koye like lose there on the bridge, and then Shuri is like, please take me, don't kill her, I want to see Namor, the king and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and I have to say, like, we have talked, especially over the last year, about the highs and lows, I think, of like a Marvel CGI and stuff like that. But the next sequence where they're going to Talokan, right? I think is the capital city or whatever like that, where Namor is showing Shuri like the underwater city and stuff like that. I thought that was amazing. I thought that was like absolutely stunning and beautiful in terms of like showing off.
What's crazy? Do you know what's crazy is before this movie started in the theaters, I saw the Avatar trailer.
Yeah.
And I watched this sequence and I'm like, this looks far better than what we're seeing in this Avatar trailer. Like this looks far better.
You said that before. It's like we're gonna. Yeah. Like how's Avatar gonna overcome Black Panther?
Yeah. So no, I thought that whole sequence was great for her to see the city, and you get to see the motivations behind Namor.
Yeah, and his culture, like the love, I loved how the Aztec Meso culture was like represented there. Like,
yes, and then that's when that's when I was like, I'm watching this movie and I'm like, you're bringing another race into the films, like into the universe, really. Like, not that they've not been represented. I'm just saying, like, you're really like bringing culture. More culture again, and it's so cool to get this. And it's sad that we're getting this. Like, it's a Black Panther movie, and then a Black Panther 2 movie. We're getting like really a dive into these cultures that you don't always experience, and it's so cool to see that. And it's like it needs. I understand like the need for that in more movies now. Like you can see it. Like it's such a cool representation, and it's it's awesome to have this in that.
No, and
stuff.
I love it.
So I was just gonna say like. Did anybody not think like that bracelet was going to be the key to like?
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, when he's like, "This is take it. It's from like our vibranium flowers." It's like, okay, that's going to be the key.
Oh, wow.
What I wanted to say though, really quick, was I loved how they gave the Talakanians like their own greeting, kind of like what Wakanda Forever has their like thing with
the shark.
Yeah.
Right.
The Hadouken. Yeah.
Well, I think 100% that's a reference to Dragon Ball Z, because that's like the Kamehameha thing, and like that's so popular in like Latin America. So like I'm like, I kind of wonder if like part of that design was
that's
inspired.
A good thinking, actually. I didn't think about that, but you're right. Yeah.
All I could think was like baby shark.
No, I was thinking.
So I didn't think it just well for me. I was like, oh no, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But I mean, it could be because like the shark teeth is his throne. So it's like.
So. I mean, we already talked about the council section where she throws Oki out, and strips her of the captain's role. The general's role, which she has served her whole life, and I mean that was a very powerful moment. We already talked about that. But I think the next sequence with getting what's her name? What's her character's name? The
mother of the
now I'm looking it up.
The lover,
Nakia.
Yeah,
thank you.
I thought it was really cool because like I think we knew, but like I wasn't sure how much of a role she would actually wind up playing in this. And I think Corey, you had mentioned it in a recent podcast about how like you really wanted to see more of her, because like she's supposed to be kind of a badass too, but she was like the typical like, hey, I want to get out of this business kind of thing.
Right.
And like I love how in this we absolutely saw what like a like spy, assassin, whatever, like specialist, because like. To me, in my head, I'm like, damn, like, this is so cool. And I would have loved for, like, her to have met, like, Black Widow or something like that. And just, she's still good with, what's her name? The new Widow. Yelena.
She was, I thought she was awesome in this movie, though. Like, I was surprised how much she was in it and how much we got to see of her character this time, where I'm like, holy shit, she's, like, fucking badass. Like, but... Like and just business too. Like again, back to just business. Like she goes in to rescue Shuri, and those other people don't matter. She's there for one reason, and that the other ones they're byproduct. Whatever happens to them, it doesn't matter. It does not matter.
I would say, I definitely like the one bit they threw in when she did show up and she killed the guards. And stuff like that. And Shuri was like, no, I need to save her. Give me your beads and stuff like that. To show, Shuri still has that compassion for, the new people that she just met, because they,
and life in general,
right, because like, the thing is, again, going back to like what we talked about in the movie cast, but like these characters all have vengeance inside of them, because they're characters, they're heroes or whatever. They have to have this motivation to surpassing things, but like the human compassion, the empathy, like you still need that to be a hero, in my opinion. So to see that from her, I think was really great because it's like these people really did actually welcome her with open arms and treat her like royalty, and she had possibly the ability to help this person, but she was being ushered out and stuff like that. So,
what did you guys? I mean, the next sequence do you anything on that you need to talk about more?
No, that's
I would like to go into the massive fight sequence that occurred in Wakanda. Then,
yes,
like, I mean, just see the destruction. Right.
I liked the Rise Telecon or whatever. Rise. Yeah. Like I thought that was really cool. And like when they do this and he's coming down into his throne.
He's a god to them. He's a serpent god.
Yeah. No. That's so that was.
Yeah, I like M'Baku.
They don't call him Lord or whatever he says, or King.
I loved his. I mean, he's such good deliveries. I mean, that's why I like
serpent.
But yeah, that moment, getting ready to I was like, oh shoot, shit's going down, and then it's like a first strike type thing.
It is like a wipe the floor with Wakanda. They just steamrolled them. I do think I felt like Wakanda should put up. I thought those were cool. I do think I was shocked Wakanda didn't put up more of a fight because we fought Thanos. Excuse me, Thanos' army, and I'm like they've encountered people that are very strong, and I'm like I felt like
they've never been attacked on their home turf.
It's true.
I don't think they.
And it was a surprise. Yeah.
It was a surprise, and like they had to worry about civilians,
and they don't have the Black Panther.
Right.
So I get you. They're in a really bad time.
And then the siren song too.
And the siren song. But I just I love that. I mean,
to see Namor in action, I thought was amazing. Like
they did such an amazing job of showing how badass Namor was. Like just
like him darting around the sky, and then going into the ocean,
going to the water. Coming back out.
So well done. It made him look so powerful and such a badass. And
the M'Baku scene with him, was it called him Fishman? I forget what he called him. He's like, he went to attack him and just
blocks it, boom, and then
sent him all the way across. One of the strongest warriors. But I
love how he just stands there and everybody else is running through the water.
He's just
Again, back to business for him. He's there for it's it. It's all about his people. It's just he's there. It's nothing personal to any of these people. You're in his way. And I was shocked about the next sequence that occurred in this. Obviously, protecting Ironheart Riri was great for Ramonda, but I was shocked at her death. I think I was not expecting that. Like, holy shit.
I kind of was anticipating a little bit.
I didn't expect it.
No. So I was like, what's gonna be that trigger for Shuri to
So I didn't know who was taking the mantle in this. I didn't know really. I thought Shuri was going to wear it, but I didn't know if she was actually going to officially take the mantle. But obviously when
All I was going to say is I'm not entirely surprised, but at the same time I did find it. It took me back a little bit in the fact that they're we're starting this movie off with grief, just exactly like you did with the original Black Panther with the burial of his father and stuff like that. And then midway through the movie, you're gonna kill, the queen and T'Challa's and Shuri's mother. I was just damn, this movie is it's very heavy emotionally. I mean, and it's not like she had a peaceful death either. She drowned and she drowned saving somebody else. And to my understanding, drowning is one of the most painful ways you can go. So it's just that's I don't know. It's not a noble, you're not dying in combat or anything like that. And nobility and something like that.
She was.
No, she said, but to just drown, that's pretty brutal, and that's very I don't know. That's
his reaction,
right? That's what I guess what I'm saying. It's I'm not shocked that she died. I'm shocked that she went out that way. If Namor had thrown something at her to kill her, a spear, right? That guy would have probably to drown her is oh, that's fucked up, bro. That's
she even called him out for that later, Shuri, with you drown, you sat there and watched my brother die and drown. So I just that was very powerful, and I mean, like you said, it gets Shuri's motivation. You're right, and so we get a week's reprieve, which he's not again, he's a bad guy, but he's not a bad guy. So,
Just because you're a bad guy doesn't mean you are a bad guy.
bad guy. It gives them a week to
More,
mourn their
yeah.
loss. And Wakanda obviously flees the city entirely, but which was confusing as to what they were doing because I didn't really get that part where it was like, were they all leaving or was that the plan? Like, I don't know. Shiri was staying behind with. Was there always people there? I didn't know who was there with her, but it was just basically
Pretty
Riri.
clear.
I didn't get that, like, because there were some there working with her. What were they? I thought they all left, and she was just working with Riri. And then I saw more Wakandans there working with her, so I was like, okay, kind of shocked by that. But obviously she solves the mystery of the flower, and
3D printing.
3D printing, which she was trying to do earlier, and now with the bracelet she was able to do. So we get the journey, the Black Panther journey.
I like how
Her,
everybody who goes to the
See something
ancestral
different.
plane sees different things.
Yeah,
yeah.
And
that
so yeah, and like
made
her
that-
state of mind brings her to the death of her mother's death like scene.
The
Yeah.
throne room with Killmonger.
Yep.
Yeah. So
And
this is
then
one.
obviously Killmonger.
This is one thing that I did get spoiled for me in terms of like who she was going to see there, because obviously we knew that she wasn't going to see T'Challa and stuff like that. But I was like,
Right.
would she see her mom here? Like maybe
Right. You'd think it'd be the mom.
Right, but like seeing I'm happy that we got Killmonger back because again he was such a good villain.
Yeah, it was good.
Like
Yeah.
you could understand
villain.
absolutely his motivations and where he was coming from and stuff
I
like that.
love his speech here. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, I mean he's such a great character. He really is.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I love how he's like, you wanted to see me because you're not noble.
me.
You chose me. Yeah.
You chose. That's
It's like you're not noble like your brother.
You don't believe in this.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I love
You gotta
it.
do
He
what you gotta
called her
do.
out. He's like, you didn't even believe in this shit.
and like I love the fact that he's like, this is all like your mom's fault essentially, and it's like your father, like he would have killed that girl.
Yeah,
he would
he
have killed the
would've.
scientist.
He killed his own brother. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so are you like your brother? Are you noble? Or are you
Yeah.
like me? And like I thought it was like really amazing. And then the flashback to that moment where she, because we don't hear what she says or
Yeah.
responds, and she's like, "Oh, I'm nothing like my brother," and that was really cool to see. She's
Well,
like,
he even said like you said yourself you want to burn the world.
Mhm.
Well, so I don't know if he said that actually. That was Namor, wasn't it? But yeah, I just feel like her motivation there it was great to have him in that. So she kind of gets the mantle that way, which is crazy from and gets her superpowers from that.
Oh, I just loved how like she woke up from that and immediately freaked out. Like she's like, it
Yeah,
didn't
well,
work.
she was-
This and the other thing. She's just so pissed and angry.
yeah,
She just goes up to
apprehensive to tell people.
yeah, and he just punches that thing and like sends it flying. And it's like, oh shit, okay, it worked. And then
Yeah.
like again, not getting into like Letitia's personal thing because I think it's weird, but like in terms of acting, I think the next scene was like, in my opinion, the
When
peak
she
of her
comes down
performance.
to-
Where
Coming down.
right? Well,
Yeah.
Maybe it's
Was it choosing the helmet?
no. I'm sorry.
It's when she's talking as the Black Panther. You're talking about? That
Yes.
scene was
So
from
so the scene. Yeah, I was just trying to make sure.
this is when he like
because she
M'Baku
talked
goes like,
right.
"Cool, ha."
Yeah. She
Yeah,
goes.
Whatever.
He goes to Kukulkan, but because the thing is, M'Baku gave her advice, another time at the funerals
Right,
and stuff like
yeah.
that. But this next
Yeah.
part where she's like, I need to talk to M'Baku alone and stuff like that, or whatever. And I'm not sure if the crowd was here. I don't think they were, but when he's
They
like,
left
I
pretty
will
quick.
not join because this is not what your mother would want for you. And she's like, my mom's gone. She's like, her hopes and her dreams for me are gone with her. This is what I want, and you're going to help me do it. I'm paraphrasing her speech or whatever like that. But to me, that was the most powerful thing she did to sell me on her as the Black Panther there, the protector of Wakanda and her people, and somebody that still was out for vengeance there. Like, I was just like, God, and you could see it on his face too. He's like, okay, like, yeah, I can't, I'm not going to argue this and stuff like that. So I just thought that was the peak of her
Yeah,
her
no, that was
representation there.
her best performance for sure, I thought. And the emotion like,
Mm-hmm.
on her face and
Yeah.
her body language and everything was fantastic.
Yeah.
Because
she
you
plans-
feel like you fell for that character. You like the stuff that she had to go through in the beginning of the movie, in the middle part of the movie, and now she has this power that she has a plan to take out the person that murdered your mother, and
Yep.
she's just consumed by that violence and vengeance.
Yep.
So
Yeah. So what did you guys what did you feel like in that last sequence then? Like that was a weird feeling for me because I'm like I thought that my thing was the motivations behind it were vengeance, and it was like it's kind of weird knowing that she's sending like a lot of her people off to die just to get revenge, and I'm like this is very villain-esque here, and I'm like I it kind of took away from like it made the Wakanda sequence more. I didn't realize that was going to be as powerful as sequence in terms of action and like watching. I really expected some more grander combat scale at the end here, where we got more just. I did expect that, not just Namor versus, Shuri. I expected to see. We did see a little bit here, obviously, but not much.
I loved it because honestly, this was a fucking sting. Like she played her trap card and she was like, "You guys fucking came running," because that's the thing is like. Namor's like, I'm going to give you guys a week, and then you guys are going to come around, and you're going to fucking basically be indebted to me and do what I say. Kneel. So yeah, I mean, maybe it was villain-esque in terms of like the Wakandans weren't being noble about it, but at this point, they had their queen assassinated or murdered in cold blood, or just cold water.
Who knows how many civilians were?
Right. No, who knows how many civilians died in that flood? Because flooding is one of the most dangerous things that can happen to a city. So yeah, fuck them. Fuck the Talcanians. Like, I get it. But like, it's like, and that's one thing I do want to say is like, I love Namor, but I think his motivation to going to absolute war was a little weak. It's like, dude, like one handmaiden died. Like, I don't know. I mean, I get it. It sucks, but like to declare war on another country, like that just seems like maybe a little bit too much, in my opinion. You go from 0 to 100.
How much has he lost though? In the world, do you think any humans have beaten them?
No, but I think
this is like a first loss.
The fact that his secret was now exposed.
He felt like they may be telling other people. Yeah, I mean, knew that.
Because the queen threatened that. But the thing is, like, there's no. The world was going to close around them at some point, right? It's just that the search for vibranium accelerated that fact. So I get it, but it just reeks of like isolation, and stuff like that, where it's like we just don't want to interact with the world. And I get that, but like the reality is you will be discovered at some point, and
right. Sure.
Just for him to be like, we're gonna go to war because one of your spies assassins killed my handmaiden. Like, come the fuck on, like at least. Have it be like a royal member or something like that, or a family member. Right. If it was a family member of his, I totally would have gotten it. I
don't think that was the only thing though. Like that was just the trigger. Like there's other things, but like he has this whole plan.
Yeah.
Like he's like, and so like if you don't go with my plan, like it's not gonna be good for you. And like then he feels betrayed because she fled. I think there's more to it than just the death of the person. But I can understand.
Yeah.
So anyways.
What did you guys think of that?
I really liked the battle sequences. I thought that
I had some issues.
Seeing the Talconians, whatever they're called, I don't remember they name them, but I thought they were awesome.
They were awesome. Don't get me wrong.
Just like the visuals of them underwater and how they
coming out of the water,
the way they attack.
All that stuff.
I liked Ironheart's sequence with
I didn't want to say like I did not like the armor.
Her suit looks I didn't like bad. That. I can't believe.
Yeah, I didn't like that, but I liked her. I liked her sequence in terms of like part of the plan.
I like that.
But I do agree with her armor could have looked. I thought they didn't spend a lot of time on that. I'm ready for like an Iron Man-esque armor, and I'm like I got more of a. I don't know. It looked like a Power Rangers kind of style suit. I don't know. But plenty of time to tweak that when she shows up in other things. But
that's not going to be in her show. So,
no. Yeah, so I think that I mean the powerful brutalness of the Black Panther, Shuri's fight against Namor was just unbelievable. Like impact, like the punch. Like I love the sound in the theater for that part. Like it's just like, I mean, I was in Dolby, and it's just like punching on the seats when they're hitting each other, like really feeling the brute force of it. But I love that sequence, but I will say that my biggest gripe with this movie is Okie with the power suit. I felt like
Midnight Angel or whatever.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I liked her character being who she was and defeating that what's his name? Uh
Akuma.
Akuma
Atuma.
Atuma. I call him Akuma. Atuma. I just defeating him on her own would have been a lot more impactful in my opinion because we've seen her never lose kind of thing. And I just felt like I didn't like her using the power of a suit to beat him. I wanted to see her character just beat him. That's all. And I felt like that was my biggest gripe with this movie, and that's my biggest gripe because I just feel like I didn't like that. But
I can see where you're coming from, but I think that's actually a comic book thing from the source material.
Well, the one woman who gets the other suit, she's the one that is like does the Night Angel thing, whatever that's called.
Yeah.
She's the leader of that group.
Yeah.
I don't remember Okoye being in that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know much about that, but I just felt that I felt that was. But I loved the Black Panther fight. That was
in my opinion, that was a really good fight. When first of all, I love the plan of like we're just gonna fucking heat you up inside this airship and
it's like what they realized that he had to like recharge underwater or whatever it was, and so it's like if we can like dehydrate him, it seems like he gets weakened. We might be able to take him out.
Yeah.
Especially now with the power of the Black Panther.
Right, but when they got to the beach and just were fighting, it was just so good and so brutal. Honestly, like they were just going at each other like with intent to kill. Obviously,
that's what I loved about that
sequence. Before we even got there, it's like they have him in the heater, and she thinks, "Oh, checkmate, you're done." And he's just got his like, I got a vibranium spear. It's like, "Oh shoot, I forgot you have vibranium as well." And it just blows up the entire ship, and I love how it blows up, like just into like, billions of pieces. And then they just continue to fall. And,
I mean, they're both like gods at this point, and it was such a great sequence. I just loved like the heat and keeping away from water, just the effect as it wore and wore and wore on him. They did that transition so well throughout all the fight parts. But yeah, I mean, she gets impaled with a freaking spear, and then still like I thought that was like, oh wow, Jesus. And then I'm like, she just walked through it with her drive, her motivation of vengeance. But obviously, then we have the mother sequence with which was what I thought that was. Like
you forgot about her ripping off one of his fucking wings.
Oh, I forgot that. Holy shit! I mean, the scream was like, oh my god, that was so well done.
I was like, oh,
I forgot all about that.
Yeah,
it's brutal.
It was a brutal fight. But yeah, ending it the way we expected it there with her beating him, but
letting him
and choosing not to to kill him.
Yeah. There were two really, in my opinion, really cool and meaningful callbacks in that sequence, because one, it's her mom saying, "Show them who you are," and I know for a fact she said that line in another movie. I forget it was. I had to be Black Panther 1 because I don't think she had Avengers appearances. So show them who you are, and she might have said it to T'Challa at that time, but I still think it's very impactful and meaningful because she's trying to teach her kids, lifelong lessons, stuff like that. But I also loved how Shuri was saying to Namor there, she's like, yield and I'll let you live, and we can be peaceful. Like, you and I will probably always hate each other or whatever, but we can't let our people like be consumed by vengeance, because it'll lead to destruction of both our peoples. And that just harks all the way back to Civil War, when T'Challa was approaching Zemo at the end. Right. When he goes, he finds out the truth, and Zemo's like, Zemo even, oh God, it just brings me full circle how much I love Civil War, because Zemo was a fantastic villain, and he won. He got what he wanted, and he's like, look, I'm sorry that your father got caught up in this mess. He seemed like a very good and noble man. Right? And then for T'Challa to be like, vengeance has consumed you, vengeance has consumed them, referring to, the Avengers, Iron Man and Captain America at each other and stuff like that. And vengeance consumed me, but I'm done letting it consume me, because, he just has to let it go. So he forgets and even saves his father's murder from killing himself right in front of him. Yeah. And he's like,
which Killmonger calls out in his speech.
Yes.
Yep,
exactly. So I thought that was a really impactful callback for me there, with just, the whole thing about vengeance and not letting it consume it and stuff like that. So
what do we think M'Baku then I love the M'Baku ending for him. I'm sorry, I just like really love that character. I thought he
No,
was so good in this movie.
Baku's awesome.
He's a
Uh,
good character.
yeah, and I guess we go to the mid credit
There's
sequence
only a
after
mid credits,
this.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's where I mean, where the movie ended was good. Where the movie actually ended, if you just stay for those mid credits, was incredible.
It elevated it for
And
me for sure.
yeah, absolutely. And oh my God, how do you? I mean, you start the movie on minutes of silence, and you end the movie on just silence. Um,
Yeah.
it was awesome with that. Well, almost yeah, silence, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, to me, I mean, it was moments of silence because it was literally Shuri burning the
yes,
burial
that's right.
wardrobe
Yeah, the
that her mother's
funeral.
that she's trying to do with her mother. That her mother was trying to force
Yeah.
her to do towards the
T'Challa,
beginning
yeah.
of the movie for T'Challa.
And you
And
get
that
that
she had
whole
to-
actual
right.
yeah.
Yep. But what I loved was just, because we could talk about the Marvel formula or whatever we want to say, and like the mid-credit sequence always teasing the future. And here's exactly where I was, like I've been saying for months that I fully expected Doom to be involved, and he was the one manipulating things in the background and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But instead, it was like actually, because she goes with Nakia because she offered to do the burial rites, the burning and stuff like that. She's like, by the way, this is my son.
Yeah.
And she's like, you could see that moment of like confusion and then realization that, and then she just says like, we decided that it would be better for him to be raised outside of Wakanda,
Yeah.
and secretly.
To have T'Challa also make the decision of not being there when he's sick too. Like,
Right.
that was just crazy. They both knew it. Yes.
They both knew it.
And he says goodbyes there to them.
Yeah, and you can see the like the emotion. And Letitia did a wonderful job here too of just expressing so many different ranges of emotions here. And to me, it was just poetic because you look at the start of the movie and we start on a death and grief and anger and all the things here, and then we're ending on that hope, right? Because Shuri was like, my family is gone. And she said in that angry rant to M'Baku that I loved, she's like, there's nobody else that knows me like that anymore. And she's like, oh, that's dead. There's nobody else that's going to know me. And you can just see that there's like that's hope that now she has that blood relative still.
Yeah.
And we're ending on a hopeful thing for not.
It's a nice hopeful ending.
Yeah.
And T'Challa is alive now.
And T'Challa, yeah, we have another T'Challa, and I just love that. That's where somebody started applauding with the Chadwick Boseman's tribute there at the end, and I'm just like, this is a moment of silence here. They're going for another one. But yeah, I just loved that sequence. It was unbelievable. And yeah, I mean, it gives you hope and lets you kind of know where they want to go with if there's going to be another T'Challa character. That's where they're going to go with it. So there will be not
That was
another
the
recast.
biggest thing that people were up in arms about. Is like there's so many stories with T'Challa that haven't been told.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now you can still tell them if you wanted to.
If you wanted to. If they want to go in that direction, they can do that. So
And maybe that's the thing that I really respect about this movie is because, and hats off to it's Ryan, right? Coogler?
Ryan Coogler.
yeah.
Hats off to him to be able to take something that happened in the real world. Because I can't think of another movie or anything where it's just like your title character, like the actor just died. And it's just like, and just looking at it from a perspective, like, how do you move forward with that, right?
Yeah.
And do that in a way that feels respectful and not cheap, and not just like, oh, like this is, and recast him or something like that. This is done honorably. It was done with love and just respect. So hats off to him and his team for being able to do that.
Especially having to pivot because you were already working on this movie
absolutely.
with the plan
script,
of Chadwick being the character, and then having to pivot like halfway through that and like grieve at the same time.
While
you're doing
grieving,
that.
absolutely.
So it was
Well
crazy,
done.
and because Coogler came out with like interviews later on saying how like he was kind of like surprised when he was doing Black Panther how it took Chadwick like a longer time to like get ready and warm up for fight sequences, and he's like be behind schedule, and he's always like, why does this dude take so long, and like what's going on? And then he's like, now I find out he was like dying on me while I'm trying to like, and it's like him like hiding that and just trying to like not bother other people with his issues and
Yeah.
continue to like tell these stories
Yeah.
is crazy because yeah, like yeah, he was suffering for that
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
time.
So, no, I mean that's what's portrayed so well with this unbelievable in this work in this movie. It's amazing. So
Yeah, what they've
I was
done here is very impressive
it was
because
a
that
great
was the biggest
movie.
question.
It was a great movie and very like sad yet somehow enjoyable. They walked that fine line
Yeah,
so
absolutely,
well.
absolutely. But
And
you
yeah,
know, just to compare it exactly to the last Marvel movie with the Thor: Love and Thunder. I mean, that was a very serious. Like there were serious parts because Thor had lost again his family. His love interest comes back, but has cancer, and I just feel like they didn't. What TD didn't exactly balance.
no,
The back and forth was like
he could have
seriousness,
dove into that more. Yeah,
right?
I
Whereas
wish he had dove into
I
that
wish he
more.
had
But
too,
yeah,
because I think the movie would have been better off for
Yeah,
it and stuff like
the
that.
tone of that film just
It
did
didn't
not
work. Yeah,
just didn't work
work.
and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I respect everything that the team did, and I love how like even now like we go in so many different directions, and like Mbach, who could wind up being the new Black Panther, because he's the new king of Wakanda and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
you could like take the title for a little while,
Right, it could take
Yeah.
the title. It could still be Shuri, if she decides to come back and stuff like that, or it could be the son of T'Challa, whatever version iteration it is, or even now like they could because we're getting into multiverse shenanigans, maybe just pull
Yeah.
another Black
Another
Panther,
T'Challa.
Well,
older.
you get the future T'Challa, which is so you can pull him because he's T'Challa still. You just pull him from the future.
Exactly,
It's
or
true.
like age him up, from timey-wimey shenanigans and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then
Alright.
really,
Yeah, and then the heart-shaped herb or plant is flower, heart-shaped flower. They replanted it, so
Synthetically grew it. So
now it's
technology.
in like burial area,
Yeah.
wherever they beam up those.
Yeah.
cascades.
what'd you guys rate it?
All right. 8.5.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think.
I was gonna be at 8. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
with
like
you.
the length again. It's like
Yeah, I think
some movies don't feel as long, but this one I don't know why because there were just things
I
that
didn't
took
get
me
that.
out of.
Yeah, I
out
didn't
of
get
it.
that, but I had seen Black Adam before, so it's like this I got more entertainment from, so I didn't get into that too long. But I did notice it after when I left. I was like, okay, there was a lot of long-winded stuff that could have been shaved off here. Like 20 minutes could have come down from this
Like,
movie.
I'm glad. I'd rather have it be a little this movie specifically.
Yeah,
I'd rather have it be a
specifically,
little
yeah.
longer.
Yeah.
Than
because some of those
too
moments, absolutely need a little bit more time to breathe and stuff like that. Because I think it
I
would
think
feel.
that's what they were trying to balance is like these heavy scenes with trying to be a little bit like take a break. Here's the chance for the audience to kind of just reflect a little bit and then get ready for another moment that's going to be like we're going to have a death of a prominent character right in the beginning and then another one in the middle and so it's like oh geez,
It was a lot. So yeah, I'm with you on that though.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's the end of this bonus round, folks. Thanks for sticking with us, staying with us here. We're on Twitch Tuesday night starting at 8 o'clock. We'll have more bonus rounds coming up for you guys. The holiday season is upon us. Once again, we appreciate you guys. We will see you soon. We're on YouTube the following day if you missed this, so subscribe to that channel as well. We're out.
Forever.
Kind of forever. Yeah.